Welcome to a deep dive into the world of drumming legend Nicko McBrain.
Oh, yeah.
Now, even if you aren't a die-hard metalhead,
Mm.
stick with us.
Yeah,
Nicko's story is one that resonates with anyone who's passionate about music dedication and maybe just a dash of rock and roll humor.
I think so.
And while most folks know him from his thunderous performances with Iron Maiden, we're going to uncover the surprising origins of his style, starting with an unlikely influence,
Okay,
jazz.
that's right. You might be surprised to learn that the backbone of Iron Maiden's sound was actually deeply influenced by jazz drumming legends.
Okay, I have to admit, that's not the first thing that pops into my head when I think of Iron Maiden.
Right.
So where did this jazz connection come from?
Well, as a young lad in Hackney, London, Nicko, or Michael Henry McBrain as he was known then, was drawn to the complex rhythms and virtuosity of drummers like Buddy Rich and Gene Krupa.
Wow.
He was fascinated by their technical skill and the way they could make the drums sing.
So instead of blasting air guitar to hard rock, young Nicko was probably honing his chops to these intricate jazz rhythms. That's quite a contrast to the stadium-filling metal anthems he'd later become known for.
It is, and that early exposure to jazz really shaped his musical DNA. It gave him a unique foundation that would eventually blend with his love for rock and contribute to his distinctive style.
I'm starting to see how those seemingly disparate worlds could come together.
Yeah.
But before we get to Iron Maiden, let's talk about the nickname Nicko. It's iconic, but where did it come from?
Believe it or not, it's all thanks to a childhood teddy bear named Nicholas the Bear.
That's amazing. From a cuddly teddy bear to a heavy metal legend, that's quite a journey.
Hmm.
So how did he go from playing along to jazz records in his bedroom to rocking out on stages around the world?
Well, it wasn't an overnight success story. Nicko paid his dues, playing pubs and clubs, gradually broadening his style beyond jazz and into the realm of rock. And it was during this period that he joined a French band called Trust, which would prove to be a pivotal step in his career.
Ah, trust. This is where the Iron Maiden connection starts to form, right? What happened there?
Exactly. It was during his time with Trust that Nicko first encountered Iron Maiden, a meeting that would change the trajectory of his musical journey.
So Iron Maiden in 1982, they're looking for a new drummer.
Yep.
Enter Nicko McBrain. What was it about him that made him the perfect fit?
It wasn't just about technical proficiency, though. Nicko clearly had that in spades. Iron Maiden had a very particular chemistry, and they needed a drummer who could not only keep up musically, but also gel with their personalities.
So they weren't just looking for someone who could play, they were looking for a bandmate.
That's right.
What made Nicko stand out in that regard?
Well, alongside his undeniable talent, Nicko brought this infectious energy and a larger-than-life personality that perfectly complemented the band's dynamic. He had a way of injecting humor and playfulness into everything he did, and that really resonated with the guys.
It sounds like he was the missing piece of the puzzle. But how did fans react to this new addition to Iron Maiden? Was it an instant hit?
His debut album with Iron Maiden was Peace of Mind in 1983, and let me tell you, it made quite a splash. This album truly showcased Nicko's power and precision.
Peace of Mind is a classic. Is there a particular song on that album where you really hear Nicko's impact?
Absolutely, it has to be Where Eagles Dare. It's a masterclass in metal drumming even today. The intricate patterns he weaves on the comms and cymbals, the sheer power and speed. It's a track that still blows people away. Even seasoned drummers study it to try and decipher his technique.
I can just imagine the energy in the studio during that recording session. But Nicko's impact on Iron Maiden's sound goes way beyond just one album, doesn't it?
You're absolutely right. His contributions are woven into the fabric of some of their most iconic albums: Power Slave, Somewhere in Time, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son.
Wow.
Each album brought new challenges, and Nicko rose to the occasion, adapting his style and showcasing his versatility.
Let's dive into those a bit, starting with Power Slave. That album has some incredibly epic and demanding tracks. How did Nicko's drumming contribute to that massive sound?
Think about the raw energy of Aces High. Nicko's drumming propels that song forward with a relentless drive. And then there's Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, a sprawling 13-minute epic. His drumming is what holds that complex arrangement together, navigating the dynamic shifts and tempo changes with absolute precision. He is the backbone of those tracks.
It's incredible how he balances that intensity with such precision. And Somewhere in Time, that album has a very different feel, doesn't it? Or more futuristic, almost progressive.
Exactly. On Somewhere in Time, Nicko embraced a more intricate and progressive style, using rhythms that perfectly mirrored the album's futuristic themes. It's a testament to his ability to constantly evolve as a musician.
It's like his playing grew and evolved alongside the band's overall sound. Which brings us to Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, a concept album. That must have presented some unique challenges from a drumming perspective.
Seventh Son is a complex beast full of intricate arrangements and unexpected time signature changes. But Nicko navigated those complexities with grace and skill, demonstrating his ability to handle anything the band threw his way.
It's clear that Nicko wasn't just keeping the beat for Iron Maiden. He was a vital part of their creative process, shaping their sound over multiple albums.
Yeah.
And of course, we can't forget his legendary live performances.
Yeah.
What makes his stage presence so captivating?
Oh, absolutely. Nicko's stage presence is just as legendary as his drumming. He's known for his playful interactions with the crowd, his infectious energy, and of course those incredible drum solos.
He brings so much energy to the stage, it's almost impossible not to get swept up in it. I bet there were some wild stories about his live shows out there. But before we delve into those, I think it's time we really unpack what makes Nicko's drumming style so unique.
What sets Nicko apart is that he manages to fuse the raw power of heavy metal with a touch of jazz sophistication. It's an unexpected blend, but it works brilliantly.
Some might say those two genres are worlds apart, but it sounds like Nicko found a way to bridge that gap.
Yeah.
How exactly does that jazz influence show up in his playing?
It's in his rhythmic approach, the way he phrases his fills and his use of syncopation. Sometimes you'll hear him incorporate swing patterns or subtle ghost notes, things you wouldn't typically find in a straight-ahead metal drummer. It adds a layer of complexity and groove that makes Iron Maiden's music so distinctive.
It's fascinating how those subtle influences can make such a big difference.
Yeah.
What else contributes to his unique style?
Nicko is a master of restraint and precision. He knows when to hold back, letting the music breathe, and when to unleash those powerful fills. His drumming never feels cluttered or overplayed. It's always serving the song, driving the energy forward without overshadowing the other instruments.
That's a great point. A lot of metal drummers are all about speed and aggression. But it sounds like Nicko strikes a balance between power and precision.
Precisely. He understands that sometimes less is more, and that control is especially evident in his use of the bass drum.
You're talking about the fact that he plays with a single bass drum pedal, right? I've always been amazed by that. Most metal drummers use double pedals for those rapid-fire kicks. How does he achieve that speed and power with just one foot?
It's a testament to his incredible skill and control. He's developed a technique that allows him to get an incredible amount of speed and power out of that single pedal. It's almost like he's defying the laws of physics.
It's really mind-blowing when you see him play.
Yeah.
It's like he's getting two bass drums worth of sound out of one pedal.
Exactly. And that limitation, if you want to call it that, actually forces him to be more creative with his footwork.
Yeah.
It's like he's turned a constraint into an advantage.
It's proof that sometimes limitations can lead to innovation. And of course, we can't talk about Nicko without acknowledging his incredible personality. He brings so much humor and warmth to the heavy metal world. It's one of the things that makes him so endearing.
Absolutely. He has this infectious energy and a playful spirit that shines through in his music and in his interactions with fans. He's always cracking jokes on stage, and his interviews are legendary for their wit and humor.
It's like he's inviting everyone to the party, making heavy metal feel inclusive and fun. Which brings us to the news that Nicko has retired from touring. I know it's a bittersweet moment for many fans, but I get the sense that it's not the end of his story.
You're right. Touring, especially at that level of intensity, takes a toll on the body. After decades on the road, it's understandable that he'd want to prioritize his health and well-being.
It's a demanding lifestyle, both physically and mentally. It makes sense that he'd want to step back and perhaps explore different avenues.
And his legacy is secure. He's inspired countless drummers and left an indelible mark on heavy metal. Even though he's stepping back from touring, his influence will continue to resonate.
I've heard so many heartwarming stories from fans about how Nicko's music has touched their lives. People who were inspired to pick up the drums because of him, people who found joy and community through his music. It's a testament to his impact.
It speaks volumes about the power of music to connect with people on a deep level. And Nicko has this gift for making those connections, both through his drumming and his personality. He's left a lasting impression on so many people.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of Nicko McBrain, what are the key takeaways you want our listener to walk away with? What's the essence of his story?
I think it's important to remember that Nicko McBrain is more than just a drummer. He's a musical innovator who defied expectations, blending genres, and injecting his own personality into heavy metal. He's a reminder that musical inspiration can come from unexpected places.
And that limitations can sometimes lead to innovation, like his mastery of the single bass drum pedal. It forced him to be more creative and develop a truly unique style.
He also reminds us that a genuine personality and a sense of humor can go a long way, especially in a genre that's often perceived as serious or even intimidating. Nicko made heavy metal feel accessible and fun.
It's like he brought a smile to the mosh pit. And even though he's stepping off the stage, his impact will continue to ripple outward, inspiring future generations of drummers.
Absolutely. His legacy isn't just about his impressive drumming, it's about the joy he brought to music and his ability to connect with people on a personal level.
It's inspiring to think about how many people have been touched by his music, whether they were moved by his thunderous drum solos or simply felt a sense of connection through his infectious energy. So as we wrap up, what would you say to someone who wants to experience the magic of Nicko McBrain for themselves?
I'd encourage them to seek out a live performance video. You'll witness his mastery of the drums firsthand and see that incredible energy in action. Pay attention to the nuances we talked about. The jazz influences his restraint, the precision of his single bass drum technique.
And you don't have to be a metal expert to appreciate his talent. Just listen for that infectious energy and the pure joy he brings to his music.
Exactly. It transcends genre. Nicko's story is a reminder to all of us to embrace our passions, find our own rhythm, and never be afraid to inject our own personality into whatever we do.
So to our listener, keep rocking, keep exploring, and keep those drumsticks ready. You never know where your own musical journey might take you. That concludes our deep dive into the world of Nicko McBrain. We hope you enjoyed the ride.